Runamuck and Runabout are not role models. They're not even human. They're Decepticons. Some of the things they do would cause a person to get hurt, expelled, arrested, possibly deported. To put it another way, don't try this at home.
Consider supporting the channel on Patreon, becoming a channel member, or purchasing some merch on my Teespring store today. The Mini Spies Transformers packaged with the Autobot mini cars in 1985 featured a motorized pullback feature that is still a popular toy gimmick today. In that same year, the Autobot Jumpstarters, Topspin and Twin Twist not only had a pullback motor, but also automatically transformed while rolling as they jumped into robot mode. Taking cues from the Jumpstarters, early concepts for additional toys that auto-transformed with a pullback motor led to the release of the Battlechargers in 1986.
Look! It's all the necklace of the Autobots! Battlechargers attack! Nobody jumps into action! Battlechargers!
The two of them were sold separately, and Bob Budiansky named them Runamuck and Runabout. Despite having the same transformation, they had differences in their heads and color schemes. Transforming into a Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, Runamuck is a fear-spreading, cackling, twirling two-lane terror. Although he is afraid of heights, he admires junkyards just like the humans admire art museums. A blast from his friction rifle can increase the kinetic energy of its target's molecules for 5 minutes. Any movement afterward can cause the target to burst into flames. Transforming into a Lotus Turbo Esprit, Runabout loves explosions. So much so that he even uses parked cars and gas station fuel pumps for target practice with his high-energy particle beam rifle. Terrified of boredom, he stays busy causing destruction as a battle charger. However, if a beautiful car crosses his path, he can be easily distracted by it because he wants it destroyed. Introduced in the Marvel Comics, Runabout and Runamuck were summoned to Earth by Megatron to send a special message to Optimus Prime to meet Megatron in a challenge to the death. While causing havoc on a highway, the duo didn't like the idea of obeying their leader. After watching a disobedient kid let his parents know how much he hates vacations by marking graffiti on a wall, the Battlechargers decided to follow the family's tour around the US as they marked graffiti on many famous monuments. With their cans of spray paint and special rocket boosters on the back of their legs, Runamuck and Runabout even left their mark on the Washington Monument. This got the attention of the robot-hating human Circuit Breaker, who deduced that the Battlechargers were following the Acton family's trip. Their next stop was Independence Hall. After crashing through Philly's heavy traffic, Runamuck and Runabout prepared to make their mark when they were ambushed by Circuit Breaker and her Rapid Anti-Robot Assault Team, known as RAT for short. After injuring Circuit Breaker, the Battlechargers escaped and took some time to learn how to write English for their next target, the Statue of Liberty. While RAT was waiting for them, Runamuck and Runabout got their point across by tagging Lady Liberty. However, Circuit Breaker used the bodies of Transformers she had previously captured to jury-rig a mech suit to outmatch the Battlechargers. Although they tried to escape, Circuit Breaker blasted Runamuck and Runabout out of the sky. Somehow surviving that encounter, the duo eventually joined Shockwave's team of Decepticons as they confronted Scorponok for supreme control of the entire Decepticon army. At the battle's end, Primus transported every Transformer on Earth back to Cybertron to face off against the Chaosbringer himself, Unicron. Sometime during Unicron's rampage, Runamuck was among the casualties. While reflecting in the aftermath with the Duocon Battle Trap, Runabout was devoured by a Cybertronian demon. Despite their apparent deaths, Runamuck somehow appeared briefly in the Generation 2 comics only to be killed off once again. And he also showed up in the Regeneration 1 comics when he was arrested by the Autobots. In Season 3 of the cartoon, the Decepticons were banished from Cybertron after the events of Transformers the movie. They came to inhabit the burnt-out planet, Char.
Once Decepticons nearly held the quadrant through terror. Now we scrap like slogs over a few energon cubes.
Runamuck was first seen in the episode Chaos, riding on top of Blastoff causing mayhem with a cannon that fired chaos crystals.
Dive lower, Blastoff! Those snoops are trying to find out about our new weapon! So let's give them a little education!
While attacking the Autobots, Skylynx came to the rescue and escaped after Runamuck's Chaos Cannon destroyed a nearby comet. In Ghost in the Machine, Runamuck and Runabout were both guarding Trypticon in City Mode. Voiced by Roger Bear,
Let's see your security pass.
Runamuck and Runabout were attacked by Scourge and Starscream's ghost.
Say goodbye, Runamuck.
Runabout, what are you doing? Oh!
Nighty-night. Scourge, this way, hurry.
This didn't sit well with Galvatron,
Well, all I can say is...
who ordered the execution of the Battlechargers along with Thrust and Dirge.
But Galvatron, there was nothing we could do. Yeah, Starscream's ghost took over my body.
Silence, you cowards, and prepare to be scrapped. Track them down like the Marconian dogs and terminate them!
However, the four escaped inside Trypticon just as Starscream possessed the Decepticon Titan. Starscream's plan was to bring the Decepticon Titan to Unicron as part of his labors required to gain a new body. However, inside of Trypticon's brain, Thrust destroyed Trypticon's control circuits.
I can't control him anymore!
All right! We did it! Take that, Starscream! Nobody for Unicron!
And Starscream left the Titan's body, demanding that Unicron revive him. Just as Starscream was revived,
I live again!
a bomb placed underneath Unicron's head by the Autobots blasted Unicron and Starscream into deep space. While the Conehead Seekers and Trypticon were seen again in later episodes, the Battlechargers never appeared again in the cartoon. However, despite their brief appearances, the pullback motors in Runamuck and Runabout's toys were also used with the Throttlebots in 1987, which included Bumblebee's upgrade as Goldbug. The details for them will have to be a discussion for another day. In addition, the auto-transforming gimmick has also seen its fair share of use throughout the franchise. However, Runamuck and Runabout have caused quite a bit of mayhem in the Transformers franchise in the 21st century. In the Dreamwave comics, Runamuck and Runabout joined the Decepticons in the early days of the war. In the present, the duo worked as assassins when Shockwave took command of the planet. Deep underground, Runabout murdered Sandstorm as he hunted for the Autobot Resistance unit. However, he quickly became a meal for the hungry Sharkticon, Gnaw. Runabout somehow pulled himself back together as he, along with Runamuck, killed one of the mini-spies. The two unfortunately made the fatal mistake of accidentally activating the superpowered clone of Starscream known as Sunstorm. The Protectobots found their bodies, where First Aid began reassembling them in hope to get some answers. In the IDW comics, the Battlechargers, now transforming into mid-2000s versions of, were part of the Decepticon unit infiltrating Earth under Starscream's command. However, when Megatron came to Earth to punish Starscream, Runamuck and Runabout fell right in line with the leader of the Decepticons. When Megatron stole a psycho prison from Doctor Doom, the Battlechargers were among the Decepticons to gain a power boost to battle the Autobots and the Avengers. Although they lost the battle, the Decepticons retreated. When the monstrous Reapers attacked Decepticon headquarters, Runamuck and Runabout fell victim to their destructive power. Astrotrain noted that they were considered acceptable losses. The first new toy of one of the Battlechargers came in Transformers Cybertron as a remold of Armada Sideswipe. Although it was clearly made to be Runabout with his style head and darker color scheme, the toy was named Runamuck, clearly for trademark reasons. Brief text stories in the Transformers Collectors Club set during the events of Transformers Cybertron place Runamuck as part of a Decepticon unit hunting for Cyberplanet keys. He was properly named in Japan, however, as Runabout in a 2-pack with the Autobot Long Rack. Trying to keep the name trademark, Runamuck was a redeco of Legends scale Jazz, colored more like the G1 Stunticon Breakdown, and was released in a 5-pack for the Revenge of the Fallen toy line as a Target exclusive. This contributed to a bit of confusion as to which character was which, since both Runamuck and Runabout looked very similar in robot mode, despite their differences in alt modes, color, and head designs. However, while contributing to the Allspark Almanac for Transformers Animated, Bill Forster stylized Runamuck and Runabout as Beavis and Butthead respectively. This went along with Runamuck's spastic tendencies and his weapon causing targets to burst into flames.
Fire! 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 Fire!
Of course, these explosions helped to keep Runabout from getting bored.
Cool.
Especially if a beautiful car is nearby.
Hey, baby.
This probably prompted the Transformers Collectors Club to release Runamuck as a retool of Generations Wheeljack in 2012. Later that year, the Collectors Club also sold Runabout as well, named Overrun for trademark reasons. The club's exclusive comics even told a few stories of the Battlechargers causing mayhem, and they joined up with G-Axis as they recalled their own version of Decepticon history. The model for the Collectors Club versions of the duo were used as generic Decepticon ground soldiers in the game Transformers Devastation. Runamuck also made an appearance as a playable character in Transformers Earth Wars, and he was also part of the Creo Building Blocks figures. Developed originally to be the Battlechargers for the Combiner Wars toy line, the small car that is used for Menassor's chest was released as Blackjack. In Japan, however, as part of the Align continuity, the toy was released as Runabout as part of their Transformers Adventure toy line in 2015. Runamuck was eventually released in a 2-pack with Dogfight as a mail-away figure the following year. The tie-in manga saw the Battlechargers hired by Knockout to assist Lockdown in capturing Ultra Magnus and acquiring parts for the Twisted Doctor's latest plan. Although the duo has only made brief appearances in the franchise, their distinct personalities were certainly memorable among fans. In fact, Runamuck was declared the winner of a fan vote in 2019 to be the character that is to infiltrate the Ark. This led to a new toy of the character released as part of the War for Cybertron trilogy's Earthrise toy line. Of course, you cannot have one Battlecharger without the other, and so Runabout, with his name trademark once again secured, was released as a Target exclusive. Although they have different heads, and their heel spurs reference their G1 toys and animation models with a second, although unpainted, tire, Runamuck and Runabout both transform into the same generic sports car resembling Runabout's Lotus Esprit. Unfortunately, Runamuck and Runabout did not make an appearance in the War for Cybertron trilogy's cartoon that is currently on Netflix.
Perhaps if these two nitwits stop lollygagging about, they could regain Megatron's favor and be used to cause mayhem against the Autobots once again.
Can you, shut up?
What do you think? Did you have a hard time remembering which Battlecharger was which? And should Runamuck and Runabout be seen in another Transformers series? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you like this video, be sure to thumbs up and subscribe.
Are you threatening me?
A big thanks to Patriot Prime for help for the intro for this video. Be sure to check out his channel as well. I'd like to thank my patrons and my channel members for your continued support. I have many more Transformers discussions and retrospectives coming soon, so stay tuned. And as always, until next time, till all are one.
Of course, the reverse switch! Why didn't I think of that?
You not smart primitive like me. Me, Grimlock, think I did right thing.